Calendar. And today on Language School's Dirty Little Secrets, we'll be taking a look at TTT and SDT. Teacher talk time, or TTT, does exactly what it says on the tin. It's the amount of time your teacher spends talking in class. So, for example, if you have a 1-hour Spanish class, and at the beginning of the class your teacher spends 10 minutes explaining some inane aspect of the language, then after some practice they spend 10 minutes telling you everything you did wrong, and finally wraps up everything with a 10-minute review, where your teacher has just spent 30 minutes of your class speaking, or in other words, they have 50% TTT. Now I'm pretty sure, well no, I really hope, that your teacher can understand, use and speak the language they're teaching. And the reason that you're in the class is because you want to understand, speak and use the language you're learning. If half of your class is given up to your teacher talking, I really don't think that's great. Perhaps you could ask them to cover 50% of the class cost. Well, good luck with that one. For some reason, many language teachers and some language schools believe that if they spend the entire class explaining things, giving examples, and well, just talking, you, the student, are going to magically learn. You can imagine them leaving the class, gasping for breath, rubbing their throats, and generally just patting themselves on the back for so much talking that they've actually forgotten the reason they're there is to help you learn a language rather than waste your time. As a general rule, you can read about most of the things a teacher will explain to you. You don't need to waste your time and money hearing them give you a list of grammar rules they've taken out of a grammar book. Next time you're in class, maybe keep a tally of how much time your teacher actually spends talking, or maybe take a look around YouTube for the videos of actual classes and look at the amount of TTT there actually is. You might be surprised. What a student of languages actually needs is space to think, practice and get it wrong, to be nudged in the right direction and given just enough guidance to internalise the meaning of something and to understand how to use it. And this requires SDT. SDT, or Student Development Time, is again as straightforward as it can be. It is the amount of time you spend in the class actively engaged in developing your language skills. That's reading, writing, speaking and listening. In other words, it is the time in the class that you spend learning the language and practicing. The other day I went to a Spanish speaking class. It was a group class of 1.5 hours long. There were 5 other students in the class, so that's 6 students including myself plus the teacher. Now, being the type of person I am, I kept a rough tally of who spent what time speaking during the class. Now, of the 90 minutes, the teacher spent 35 minutes speaking, and the other students spent a total of 45 minutes speaking. Now, that's mathematics. That means that in total, I spent about 10 minutes speaking in the class. Now, remember, this was a speaking class. Now, for a class which was specifically designed for improving fluency in spoken Spanish, I had a student development time, or SDT, of around 12%, while the teacher had a TTT, or teacher talk time, of approximately 35%. Now, I don't know about you, but if I pay for 90 minutes of speaking development, I want as close to 90 minutes as possible. 12% is not really a good investment of time nor money. But hey, you may be happy with that, but you shouldn't be. Why was the teacher speaking to 35% of the class when there were 6 students? And why did he not get the students speaking among themselves to increase the student development time? Why not start keeping a tally of the SDT of your classes? You may be surprised to see just how low it actually is. Be careful of how you spend your time learning a language. Most of us do not have all day to study. We have jobs, families and other responsibilities. So the time that we put aside to improve our language skills is very, very precious. If communication and understanding is your goal, which I think it is for the majority of language learners, be very, very careful of how much TTT or teacher talk time there is in your classes and how much actual student development time or SDT you are getting for your dollar, yen or peso. Do you agree that TTT and SDT are important? What's your experiences with language teachers and language schools? Leave a comment below, I'd love to know. Finally, if you like this video, I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe, and you can always follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Have a great afternoon, morning or evening, wherever you are in the world. Goodbye.